All right, let's talk about some problems you can have with your experiment if you don't control for certain things. So we know we have two different levels, a control group and an experimental group. But the idea of a good experiment is you keep everything consistent between the two groups so that the only difference between the two groups is the independent variable. That's the whole basis of experimental design. But there's some things that can influence your study. The first one is called experimenter bias. Experimenter bias is if the experimenter actually influences the data somehow. And you have to assume this is going to happen. Even the most together person is probably going to cheat a little bit. It happens. The way we do this is by having what are called blind experiments. You have single blind and double blind experiments. A single blind means the subject doesn't know which condition they're in. A double blind means the experimenter and the subject does not know what condition they're in. In this case, no one can tell which condition another person is in, and so you can't influence the study. Placebos are also used. You know what these are? These are often considered sugar pills, but we use placebos in all different sort of strategies in experiments. We have a control group. We give them something that looks very much like the drug, but it's not the drug, and that's a placebo. We can also use assistants, confederates. We can use deception. So confederates are posers. They're actors who look like they're part of the study, but aren't really part of the study. And deception. We can outright lie to subjects to fool them, to think that the experiment is about something when it's really about something else. The other sort of bias is something called demand characteristics. This is where the subject tries to figure out the experiment, and when they do, they tend to help. One of the ways to control that is placebo effects, placebo techniques, and single blind experiments. Single blinds work to control demand characteristics. Double blind works to control experimenter bias.